everyone. Welcome to the Ask Valor Masterminds podcast. My name is Galan.
I'm Joe.
And we're coming at you from the BD Local Studios in Tacoma, Washington. So, Joe, for our new listeners and viewers out there, can you tell everyone how our podcast came to be?
Absolutely. So it first started as a Facebook group page. The goal was to just bring business owners together to be able to communicate and talk with each other about maybe different issues that they were facing as a business, as it relates to their business, or just any sort of issue they're having, and to kind of get them to communicate with one another. From that, we thought, what a better way than to create a podcast where we bring on different guest speakers to talk about all different types of topics related to business and just business.
So it's pretty cool. It's helped Joe and I on our entrepreneurial journey from getting guests not only locally here in Washington State, but expanding. And we are really excited to expand to our first international guest. So we are joined today by Renee Russo. And Joe, can you give a quick intro? We'll do a more formal introduction later, but a quick intro of Renee, please.
Sure. Renee is a highly respected entrepreneurial business coach dedicated to helping people get more out of their business, effective in teaching leadership teams a proven methodology and tools that empowers them to get vision, traction, and healthy.
Awesome. Renee, thank you. And where are you? We said it pre-show, but tell everyone where you're from and where you reside now, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Renee Russo, as mentioned, and I originally hail from Melbourne, Australia, and now call Whistler, Canada, home. So I've joined the rest of the Australian community here in Whistler and now live in the mountains, living my best life. It's great.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you. So, Joe, our last episode, we're really excited to have Chris Duffin on. So we had him. Here's his book. If you could see it, The Eagle and the Dragon. What was one of your main takeaways when Chris was on our last episode?
Yeah, so he shared a whole bunch of good information from, who he is or why he is the way he is, as far as how he grew up being homeless, living in the woods. But the one takeaway that I have is about setting goals. So set your big goals. So what a lot of people do is they set small goals, but they forget to dream big. So if you stop dreaming big, then essentially, you set this huge goal up here, and then you set your smaller goals to help reach your big goal. So if you don't dream big, then you're never going to reach that big goal that you have.
Right, because he even shared with us, go as far as 10 years out to have that big of a goal. So not only things you could see, but things that you want to achieve. And he talked about grand goals, the first guy to squat 1,000 pounds and deadlift 1,000 pounds for a rep. So, your world record stuff, you don't get any grander goals than that. So check that episode out, guys. So the Chris Duffin episode. Joe, Q Image 3. Can you tell everyone about our Valor Cares initiative, something we're really proud about and getting some great momentum heading into this next year?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is near and dear to us. Being a marketing company during COVID, we're thankful that COVID actually advanced digital marketing by 5 years. So people were actually wanted to focus more on their business and especially on their website. So we thought, what a better way than to start giving away some website builds. So we started out with one website build, and now we're giving away 4 website builds. And just this month alone, I think I've given away 2 or 3 website builds myself. So it's just a way for us to give back to our community, both locally here in Washington State and nationwide, and maybe up and into Canada as well. Who knows?
Right. So we'll put more information about that on businesses you could nominate who'd be a good fit for on our social media feeds. So Q Image 4. So I asked Renee when we're planning for the podcast, I need a good motivational quote, and especially in the COVID era and heading into 2021, positive momentum we're hoping. A quote by Mahatma Gandhi. So be the change you want to see in the world. So that resonates a lot with our world. Why did you pick that, Renee, and why is that important to you?
Yeah, especially in these times, it's common to feel very disempowered. There's a lot of adverse events happening globally. And through that, sometimes we feel like, our path forward becomes unclear. The landscape has changed. And many people move into a mindset around hopelessness and helplessness. And in my work as a yoga teacher prior to my entrepreneurial career, I learned a lot about mindfulness and the power of the mind, switching that mindset around, setting positive intentions and executing on that. And the more I practiced that, the more I realized that I was in control of the change. There wasn't change was happening to me, but I could manifest the change that I wanted in the world. And when I was able to successfully turn that around, my life changed in beautiful ways. And I've now continued to share that quote and share my story with other people so that they can start manifesting the change that they want to see in the world.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's definitely well needed today and everything that it does start with you, the individual, before you can impact your life and everything. And to what Joe was saying earlier, the small goals to get the big goals, you need the little checkpoints to make sure you're on the right path personally over business first. So awesome. Cue image 5. So now we come to the point of our segment, our CR Gutters Did You Know segment. So Renee is an EOS implementer, and we'll get into that a little bit, but entrepreneurial operating system. So we're just going to talk about Q image 6, being an entrepreneur, some facts or myths that I'm going to read and then get her professional opinion on, and Joe and I will kind of chime in where we need to. So Q image 7. So being an entrepreneur, oops, there's a typo I realized, so I apologize for that, guys. I'll just read these. Entrepreneurs don't quit. Entrepreneurs are their own boss. Entrepreneurs are rich. And entrepreneurs always take huge risks. So Renee, talk us down from some of those points and what your thoughts are to the entrepreneurs out there listening right now.
Mm-hmm. So, there are two sides to all of these statements. Many entrepreneurs do quit, and many are relentless and never quit even when they should. But I find that the visionary entrepreneurs that I work with and their teams, that visionary has a relentlessness about them, and they don't let small disruption or fear always get in the way of being brave, being bold, and moving forward. So that relentlessness and that never quit mindset often helps them overcome a lot of those early bumps in their journey and helps them often get to the next level. But the failure rate of entrepreneurial businesses, according to a Forbes study, in the first 18 months is 80%. Wow. So obviously many do quit, and many of them probably should, because they realize actually this wasn't a viable business idea in the first place. So yeah, something to keep in mind, being propelled by your purpose will hopefully help you move through those bumpy phases. And when you've got that grit, it's likely going to see you through to brighter days if you are willing to do the work and stay focused.
You said 80% quit in the first what?
Fail in the first 18 months, according to a Forbes study.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty huge number.
But the visionary is actually an idea generator. They have like 2,000 ideas in a lunch break. So not all of those are meant to be, pursued. And sometimes they're just not great at analyzing them first. So they just jump in, give it a go, and then realize it's not, it's not viable or sustainable.
So is I did some research. So I know you have visionaries and, then the team around it, right? So is every entrepreneur like a visionary first, and do they surround themselves with those people that help kind of build them up and support them, or do they transition into that role when you talk about that?
In terms of founding entrepreneurs, we've identified two key profiles. The visionary profile generates a lot of ideas, got a lot of grit, and they're like formidable, but they lack follow through. So they kind of get bored very easily and then move on to other things. Then there's the integrator profile of a founding entrepreneur who's more like in the mechanics of the business. And they're really good at moving all those pieces around to get everyone rowing in the same direction and executing on the vision. Challenge there, sometimes they're not able to look around and see ideas, opportunities around them. They lack that visionary element. When we bring a visionary and an integrator together, it becomes a very powerful relationship we call the rocket fuel relationship. So there's assessments you can do, visionary versus integrated profiles. We tend to see typically the stereotypical entrepreneur is far more visionary, and that ties to the failure rate. But when they align with an integrator, amazing things happen.
Okay. And that's something that you help your clients do or businesses do then, right?
Yeah, create that right structure of accountability. And if a visionary is lacking follow through, lacking structure, process, good order, skill sets, then they should actually get out of the way and let an integrator run their business. So they can create alignment, focus, and good execution and high follow through. So there is this nuance. Visionary often gets it up and running, and integrator keeps it going. And understanding those roles, how they differ, and everyone in their right box, we call a seat, is really powerful. Otherwise, it becomes a hot mess, and often there's a lot of conflict tied to that relationship.
Yeah, I felt like a hot mess a couple of times, or run across clients that have, but that grit factor, I've read the book, Angela Duckworth's Grit, when you mentioned that. So recommend a read. I know on your website, you have a page where you recommend reads too of different books that I found. So cue image 8. So these last two on or I guess we have one more, but I'll read these two. People don't want to work hard anymore. And running the business off the bank balance is viable. So share your thoughts on those two, because I know Joe and I have heard or seen that happen, those two things. So
yeah, the first one is really critical. Entrepreneurs are very emotional, and they often are very emotionally connected to their business. And the challenge is the idea, the vision, the plan is often inside their own head, and they're unable to clearly communicate that to other people. And even though they hire great talent and they pay a heavy price for it, they're unable to onboard them successfully, get them in the right seat, and get them on board with this vision that's currently inside their head. So a lot of my work is about helping them form that right seat structure, right people on the bus, and then sharing and building that vision with them so they own it too, and get everybody clear where we're going on the vision, executing on every part of that vision with getting traction, and working together as a cohesive, open, communicative team. And so while it's still in your head, chances are you're not going to get what you want from people. And I don't believe people are lazy. I feel like we need to set them up for success, clear expectations, clear focus, and have the right tools in place to lead, manage, and hold them accountable on the journey.
So that would that be like building a business and getting everyone on board? Would that be creating a culture for the company?
Yes, core values, absolutely, but also a clear structure of accountability. We call the accountability chart to execute on that vision. There's often a big disconnect between the culture and the values, the structure of seats and roles and accountabilities, and the vision. And when we bring them all together with the power of an operating system, which is what I teach, when they all tie in together, you get more of what you want from people, and you get what you want from your company.
just real quick on the, like the seats analogy, do people in the company often change seats, or when you get in your optimal seat, do they stay in those roles, or, because someone who's that person who does really well may want to do something else, but they're really good at that, or do they have to constantly reassess themselves as an organization?
Oh, I love this question. We could talk all day about this, but a couple of things here. We build the structure, the right structure of accountability first. We remove all the people, they're fired, and we start with a blank canvas, and we build that structure of accountability first. So we take structure first, people second. Once we've got the right structure to execute on the vision, we then say, from these people that we have currently employed in our company, who gets, wants, and has capacity to deliver on each of these given seats. Now, when you start an organization, you likely get, want, and have capacity to deliver on a given seat. And then over time, your skills improve and develop. And maybe you don't want that seat anymore. Maybe your capacity exceeds that seat. The nice thing about the accountability chart, as opposed to an org chart, is that it's fluid. It is constantly in an evolutionary process of alignment with the vision and making sure we have the right people in the right seat. So every quarter, we have these quarterly conversations around the GWC component of being in the right seat, the get it, want it, capacity to do it. And then every quarter as an organization and annually, we're doing the right planning and constantly asking ourselves, do we have the right people in the right seats? And any issues around that are just simply issues. We circle it, we name it, we get it on the issues list, and we solve it in priority order. That way, we don't get derailed by all the emotional overload of whether people are happy or unhappy. We've got good process and a good methodology around solving those issues.
Awesome. So Q Image 9, the last part of our CR Gutters, did you know? Meetings are a waste of time and processes stifle innovation. So you kind of alluded to it just now, but your quick thoughts on those.
Bad meetings are an absolute waste of time. And if we're having bad meetings, we should just stop all meetings. If we have good meetings, we need less of them. We require less time in those meetings, and we get more done. The meetings need to be around coming together as humans, the right people in the room to collaborate, to solve problems, troubleshoot, use the social elements of our brain to do things outside of our regular course of work. That's the value of the meeting. Now, it is like herding cats if we don't have a good structure, a good agenda, and good discipline around that meeting, that it starts on time, ends on time, follows that structure agenda, and everybody in the meeting participates. No more meetings where people come with show and tell. No more meetings when one or two people are doing all the talking, and no more meetings passively checking your phone and tuning out or having a nap during the meeting. These meetings are critical, and if done well, they are not a waste of time. If done poorly, they are.
So just in the era now, the work from home era. So now you have those meetings via Zoom. Does that change a little bit now in the virtual meeting space as opposed to physically being in a room together?
The structure is more important than ever. And within that structure, when we've got the right data already into the agenda, the scorecard, our goal statuses, our issues list, people can actually prepare better for the meeting and show up ready to participate. Prior to the meeting, you should take about 15, 20 minutes, check the issues list, check off your to-dos, make sure that you are ready for the meeting. Now more than ever, as an engagement tool, meetings are critical working from home, for sure.
Do you find that in the structured meetings that sometimes you have the CEO sitting around the table and you got everyone else? Do you ever find that the CEO doesn't want to listen to the issues that are being brought up within the company?
Mm-hmm. If we've got good structure and everyone's bought into that, including the CEO, then they basically have to get in line. They have to recognize that we are coming together as a meeting as peers and that this is a collaborative process. The structure is designed to stop those overzealous CEOs or entrepreneurs just wanting to just talk all about themselves and talk about all the things they want to talk about. They are less likely to derail it when we have good process. And everybody participating means when we're solving issues, we go all the way around the room. We need
everyone's a stakeholder then, right? And that's in that structure. Right?
And everybody brings a different lens that's invaluable. So we need to make time and space for everybody to contribute.
Awesome. Now we come to the point of our podcast. We're going to formally introduce Renee. Renee's already provided a ton of great information. So cue image 10. So you are an EOS implementer, certified business coach and everything. You've kind of covered that. So I just want to get into the questions. But real quick, cue image 12. So I have the EOS model on screen. People, vision, data, issues, traction, process. So in about 30 seconds, can you tell our audience what an EOS coach implementer is?
Mm-hmm. I help people, entrepreneurs, get what they want from their business by implementing a simple, proven set of tools and disciplines we call an operating system to get everybody rowing in the same direction and executing on every part of the vision. So it's really about simple tools and disciplines that everybody across all levels of the business are applying. So we get that consistency, that we get alignment, focus, and good execution.
Awesome.
So now less than 30 seconds.
Yes, you did a great job. So now we'll get to know you, the individual. So first question is, what are some lessons learned as an early entrepreneur?
Mm-hmm. The power of process and discipline. As an early entrepreneur, I'm a quick start and I want to go, and I want to hustle hard. And then I learned the value of actually good process, good discipline to keep myself in check. And then as I added members to my team so we can stay on the same page, because no one can read my mind. And also the power of working on my business. It's very much overwhelming when you're an entrepreneur and you're very much in the business all the time. But the business doesn't get better, stronger, and more viable while you're in it all the time. We need to step back. We need to work on it. We look at our processes, our vision, what's in the way, solve issues. You can't do that while your brain is always in the business. So the power of stepping out of it to work on it. And that we are able to do far more with other people on board than just ourselves. So the entrepreneurial business is a beautiful opportunity to engage other people's skills and talents, fill those gaps that I have, and do more together.
So being that you've been in business and you've gone through some highs and some lows, what's the best piece of advice that you've been given as an entrepreneur? Engage in an ongoing conversation. It takes a lot of repetition to really get messages, transferred to other people. With the vision, you can't just build the vision once and put it on the wall. You need to reinforce it. So lots of engaged dialogue. The conversations are the relationships we have with our team members. So in order to keep those relationships strong, we need to keep the conversation going. Good structure, good discipline around that. But if we want the best out of people, we have to engage with them on an ongoing basis.
Awesome. So our last question, since this is a marketing podcast, why is marketing your business important?
Oh my goodness, so many ways. From an external perspective, creating brand awareness and allowing your prospective clients to know about you and where they can go to get the help that you offer. While you're sitting at home or in your business, waiting for business to arrive, we're missing all these opportunities to connect with new clients and prospects. So the marketing allows you to get the word out so people can get the help that you need that you offer in your business. From an internal perspective, we need to make sure that everybody in the business is fully aligned around our marketing strategy. They know who our target market are. They know why those businesses choose us over the competition, so that we can start to really deliver on those commitments that we've made. And then from an internal branding piece, we want to make sure that our internal brand, in terms of how we interact with and communicate with our employees, aligns up with our external marketing strategy. We want to sell ourselves as employers and give people a compelling reason to work with us as well. So when we have a marketing alignment with the target customer, the needs of the business, and the employee experience, it's just magic.
And that's kind of what you're talking about earlier with getting everyone on the same page, going the same direction. Joe asked it in the form of like the culture question. So when your marketing is aligned with the customer experience, with your beliefs as a company, that is helping everyone in the same direction, right?
Yeah, messaging. That's everything is communication, and marketing is the vehicle to have very much the communication out there in the world that we need to engage the right people to work with us from a customer standpoint and work with us from an employee standpoint.
Awesome. So cue image 11. So now I put this graphic up. EOS is like a playbook for your business. So last weekend, a little bit ago, was just the Super Bowl, right? We saw Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl. And Joe and I are sports guys. So just using the football analogy, if you have a playbook, and talk to us a little bit about the EOS playbook or the EOS system. We have businesses out there who may or may not have had a business coach, or maybe are intimidated by finding a business coach. Can you share some good practices, maybe 2 or 3 tips of how everyday entrepreneurs, businesses can use elements of your system to kind of make some changes, or things that you think that entrepreneurs, small businesses do wrong, like 2 common things that they should stop doing? And we'll have your contact information up so people could contact Renee, but could you just address those real quick?
Yeah. First of all, you need a playbook. Traction is the playbook that has all the methodology in it, the operating system. So that is the game-changing book that really turned my entrepreneurial life around for the better.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me all the time, what exactly do you do? And I say, I help people get what they want from their business. And they're like, what exactly is that? And I'd say, when you play Monopoly and everybody's playing by their own rules, the game doesn't go very well. If you send footballers out in the field and just like, just go do all the things that you're great at and we'll just hope for the best, the outcomes are not great. We need a playbook, a game plan to get everybody on board playing the same game so we can achieve great things together. So we've reduced complexity in the organization with an operating system, just a handful of tools, just 5 tools and a few disciplines around that. We get everybody using the same language on board with the same vision, rowing in that same direction. The power of the playbook analogy is also tied to the player. Each player in the game of football, my kids all play hockey, each player in hockey has a different skill set, right? And they all apply that skill set to their position. When we have employees coming on board, we just give them a job title, and we give them a salary, and we hope for the best. So we can get really clear around exactly the accountabilities of each seat so that everybody has that. And then they can use their unique abilities and skills to do great work. And then we can get everybody focused on the end goal, whatever that may be for a given organization. Also, the people component is powerful. The scoreboard, the scorecard. We teach the scorecard. I say all the time, how do you know if you're winning as a business if you don't have a scoreboard? You don't. So we need a scorecard discipline in place. So we're collecting data in the business, not just the number of goals scored, but the attempts, I don't know football very well, but the shots on net, the saves, all those things are really important. We need to track the activities that drive the results that we want. No more running the business from the balance sheet. No more hoping for the best. We can actually drill this down to a science. Just like a playbook in football is about a science, same in business. We need to understand the activities that drive our results, get the right people accountable for them, and track them every week so we can actually control our outcomes. So those are 2 really key areas. And then process, getting everybody doing the right work the right way the first time, reduce our errors, increase our scalability, and increase our profitability. Again, not just hoping for the best, throwing a bunch of talented people out there, which is what a lot of entrepreneurs do. We give them good structure, we get a pulse on the activities, give them good process, to get what we want for the business.
So are there a couple things like Galan mentioned that businesses you see always do wrong?
So that vision is held by one or a small number of people and nobody else knows where we're going. And good talent gets off the bus because they have no idea where this bus is going. And that's one simple thing that you can do for free, and to share the vision, engage your people in that. And I would say, back to the point that you talked about goal setting. Goal setting is important. And a lot of organizations do it, and they do it poorly because they don't have the overarching vision of actually what we're all working towards. So the goal setting becomes very individualistic, and people don't have a picture of where we're going. And when you've painted a really clear 3-year picture and people know where we're going as an organization, the goal setting actually allows you to get traction on that picture that you're working towards, as opposed to setting goals just for the sake of it. And we should stop having crappy meetings. Good structure, good discipline, good cadence will allow you to get more value from those meetings than ever before.
Yeah, I could say that Joe and I worked in the corporate world, and the goal is increase sales, increase by 20%, and you don't know where it's going. And then, you'd have a couple people rise to the top, a couple people just get lost, and a couple people are just hanging on for the ride as long as they can. And I've seen companies who operate that same way, where it could be a detriment. They need marketing to grow, but they don't know why they want to grow. What's their 3, 5, 10-year plan? They just think, I'm making payroll. I'll get a new truck on the fleet or something, and that's a success. But it's kind of short-sighted, right? And
it makes employees feel unsafe. Is this company going to be here in the future? Is it viable? Where are we going? I don't know. They come to work because they want to be part of something. And if we don't show them what they're getting on board with being part of, they won't connect with it. They won't give their best. They won't stay for long, and we won't get what we want from the business.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll have your contact information on our social channels, so people are free to reach out to you, and you could help anyone around the world. Just because you're in Canada, you could still help any businesses, right?
Yeah, I'm part of a global community of 425 other people that do what I do, including my brother in Melbourne, Australia. So we're equipped and ready, to get you a copy of Traction, provide some support. We'd love to help.
Awesome. So if people reach out to you, they could get a copy of the book and everything?
Yep.
Okay. So guys, our audience, there's a challenge, something 2021. A good read's always good. And if it's to help your business, contact Renee. So talking about company experience and transitioning for this year, a big part of what we stand for is just being an educational resource and helping businesses. Joe, one more time, can you share a little bit about our Valor Cares initiative, which we're so proud of? So
Absolutely. So our Valor Cares initiative is really to help businesses start with the foundation for their business. And every foundation for their business should be their online presence, which always starts with a website. So if you have a business and you don't have a website, or your website's, it's several years outdated, and that it's not converting the traffic that you're getting, then go to our website, valormarketingllc.com /Valor Cares. Submit your information, and a committee of people will choose 4 or 5 winners every single month. And we hope that you're the next winner.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for tuning in. My name is Galan.
I'm Joe.
And we're coming at you from the BD Local Studios in Tacoma, Washington, on behalf of our sponsors, Advanced Septic Services and CR Gutters. Thank you for tuning in, and see you again soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.